market psychology is always to be bearish, and bullish at the wrong time, right? Like that's just natural. The way that I see it is everyone got sideswiped into these precious metals, right? Which I think have all but top now. And I reckon that was happening about a week ago. I wanted to go short, but I was looking at it going, nah, you never know. This is just going and going, right? But I think what they've done, moved a lot of people into the metals, taking their money, exactly what they do, classic, and then they come over and then they roll back over to crypto. And then they might even get some new shiny participants because those people that have now gone and bought some gold and silver start to see Bitcoin pumping. And again, I don't even know if we're going to go and blast all-time highs. I actually don't think. I think Bitcoin all-time high is probably in.
Interesting. You think Bitcoin all-time high is in total? Never going to breach 130?
No. Look, I think Bitcoin all-time high is in for this cycle. That's not saying that, hey, and that's if we stick to the 4 years, right? And if we become more like a NASDAQ sort of where you get those sharper drops and then it just keeps going up, there is a potential for that. And this would make perfect sense that they wipe it back to 60 quick, halve the price in 3 months, harvest everything, turn around, grab their positions and push it. We're just the pawn in the game of the market makers, right? Or the institutional funds. And you got to remember, the gloves are off with these guys. Not only is crypto, the whole space with Trump in charge is now Wild West. Because when Biden was in and all the government officials, everyone's scared. No one's going to make these decisions to do, stuff that's borderline illegal, right? Now, boom, the manipulation is rife. They're like, boom, we're gonna take it at every angle. So
yeah, I was seeing some good theories about that with like CZ clearing the books on Binance because he was like one of the last big I guess you would say institutional holders, like regulatory acts actually passing. So get him to clear his books, get the Bitcoin price as low as possible. Institutions can step in, more firmly control supply. And when this Clarity Act kind of thing passes, it's just going to be, like you're saying, kind of more, maybe not exactly like S&P, like the sharp wicks, but a much more steady market growth, like chart pattern.
Yeah, I actually like it more than NASDAQ because I think it will be sharp. I think it will be more like faster than the S&P, but sharper. And it's a perfect instrument for them, right? Like, so you get those big, nice moves and it will just be on that trajectory up. That is just, I'm not saying that that's what happens. That's the alternate to us having the 4 year cycle. We roll back up to 110, we turn around and we drop back down to 50. And you probably want to stack at 50 at the end of the year if that's what happens, right? But you got to be ready for both scenarios. Like you got to be thinking, is it going to be this or is it going to be that? And then try and play the game right. It's not all sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, right? Like the market is designed by these people that are effectively controlling, huge institutional funds, and you're playing the game along with them. And if you're not going to play the game to the platform that they've set, then you're going to get wrecked, right? And if people want to be involved in crypto, then you got to manage those funds like you're going to get a 10x or you're going to get a 0x, right? Like you're playing in a high risk space that can give you a 10x. So you need to be prepared for what happens when it's going the opposite way as well. There is not on all tokens, not like equal and stuff, but there is a short and a long button, for a reason, and that's a healthy market because there's two sides to the trade and it keeps the market moving. Like Sonic is a blockchain. It's got trying to find its use case to a degree. I think it's super fast, got highly technical. There's a few things that could have been done better, a few things that were done good. As a thing, you know what you're participating in. You're in like leading edge tech, right? Like sometimes I don't know, people invest in mining companies that might strike gold. It's very similar, right? Like, hey, by the way, like I was sitting there at $1.40 with a lot of Sonic as well, right? So I'm feeling the pinch of the drop. At the end of the day, it was always a fairly high risk play because you're investing in that company that might find gold, right? And that's not always the case in a fast-moving space that moves around.
Let's talk a little bit about equalizer itself here, right? You're mentioning, you got to manage your money very actively. Like you can get a 10x or you can get a 0x. You can't get zeroed out, dude. How does equalizer kind of fit into, you think, a person's like money management on chain?
Yeah. Okay. So equalizer itself, I think, is a fantastic system that we took the ideas and improved upon from Andre's initial design, which a lot of people have done the same. And I think that we put some really, really nice factors into it. As for equalizer, I think it is, and any VE, by the way, any VE is always going to be sort of held by the market, because you've got to remember, we've got a token that incentivizes the liquidity that basically is open to market pressures, which we're seeing now, right? VE models work really well in the uptrends, and they come down in the downtrends, and liquidity leaves networks, less fees. It's just a natural economic cycle, right? And we've seen a couple, like if you look at the chart on all of these VEs, you'll see that they really cycle up and down with the market. So I think when you're looking at equalizer, you've got to look at it as like as a 10, 100x opportunity, but you've got to get it at the right time, and you've got to time the market right. But then you've also got all these added benefits where you can lock the token and earn fees and participate in that manner. So for instance, if you're like got a 6-month horizon, you could buy it, lock it, earn, let it open up, take back what your initial is, especially if you're timing the market or something, or maybe take a 3-month lock. That was one of the good things we did at Equalizer. The initial lock system, and you'll see on a lot of these, are still 4 years. Our system was 6 months. We were the first, actually. 4 years was the standard, and then we were like, no, we dropped back to 6 months. We saw a lot of really good net effects there. One of the biggest things is we held the strongest VE NFT market because of that. If you look at Equalizer, what did we do? We made longevity, right? So while the chain, once the chain gets pumping up and a bit of fun again and liquidity comes in, we've got that long-term tokenomic view that we put in. We're one of the longest running VEs. We're the second to Velodrome. So, but what did we do? We made it so that we didn't dilute voters. Now, out of all of them, we're still paying the highest APRs 3 years in. So, yeah, what is Equalizer? It's a whole ecosystem for you to get involved in and learn about and participate in the way that you find most viable for you. You can even just supply liquidity. You never even have to buy the token. You can just earn it, right? So there's so many ways for you to participate and play. But what we did is basically try and do everything for longevity. And we're very aware that it's dictated by the market and the cycles. And when the bottoms are in, that's when the real fun starts.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on like the changes that you made to the original Solidly model, which was, if ever, for those who don't know, Solidly was launched by Andre Cronje, was highly anticipated. It kind of flamed out really quick, but then it was forked a lot, and the forks were a lot more successful. One of them being Equalizer.
Yeah, look, Equalizer, the adjustments that we made. So the first thing was, and I just sort of touched on it, was we adjusted the lock model. I thought 4 years was too long, and I did think that it was sort of hindering the reason to lock, but also the secondary market. So I changed that, or we changed. I basically crafted tokenomics. So when I say I did change that 6 month lock period, and that was a huge thing. There was another thing in Andre's model, and I don't want to go too much into explaining everything, and we'll be here all day, but there was another thing in Andre's model, which was like own, right? It was a rebase. So what it meant was that the token, that if you were early, you would be given tokens each week that were locked. So you were getting a rebase, like an extra yield on top. We were the ones that stripped that out. The reason I stripped that out is because I feel like it hindered new entrants. And again, I said everything's about longevity earlier. So when you have a token that's getting given to you, you're sort of stopping those new entrants because they can't play a fair game, right? You're like, you're going, hey guys, you came day one, and now day 30 guys, we can't help you out, right? And that's not even a business model as such. Like if you go and look at anyone, it's like, oh, we'll give you an introductory rate,
Yeah.
It's never, hey, we look after the current customers. Like if you look at a business model, it's like, hey, a free gym membership for your first 14 days. But after that, we're not even going to review you, right?
Yeah.
So we changed that. One of the biggest things that we changed was Andre went to the market with a 0.01% fee on all tokens. Right now, Uniswap at the time was about, I think it was 0.25% fee, so 25 times more. So this is one of the biggest factors. We were like, okay, you can't have a 1% fee because it's not productive enough to supply yield for these V lockers. So what I did is I changed it. I upped it by 20 times, right? I basically said, no, we're going to make it more like a Uniswap with the VE model, as opposed to this low fee engine that was relying a lot on bribes, right? So I would say we were the first that took the model and took it to fees, not bribes. Everyone else gave out NFTs. That's a big factor. We never, ever gave out any protocol NFTs. Everyone gave them out to people, and people bribed these wheels up. But that was very short term, right? Whereas we were like, no, this is about the fees, right? We're a little mini Binance, and you're going to participate and earn based on that little mini Binance, right? And we were also the only ones that got no grants, because at that time there was only really Velodrome, right? And the other ones were all running low fee models, relying on grants and bribes. By the way, everyone's moved to that fee model since. They came out and they did the same thing. But one of the biggest things, and I missed this, was that we're a community-based project. We launched as a community-based project, and devs came in and everyone sort of came in and worked with us. And it's always been about whatever the community wants, we sort of, ride with. It's not a DAO, but it's community driven, right? And it always has been. We've got devs that are in there that are working for internet points, right? Not even dollars, man. They prefer like internet points. Like that's how they build, right? So we've done some cool stuff over time. One thing that we did and everyone followed, right? This is hilarious. Because it was a bit of a fix at the time, but also like this could really help us bring customers in. Now, this was actually probably the biggest thing that we did, and that was and for customer acquisition, but like mod to the system, which we threw the aggregator in. So it was Firebird at the time. Yeah. Everyone else would run a DEX and they'd run their own front end system. I was like, nah, let's throw Firebird in here. Let's let everyone's liquidity be utilized. Now I can say, don't use Firebird, use us. And I'm telling you, like our site numbers went up, like everything, like we just got like a flush through of users because we just like, why would you swap anywhere else? Just come to there, you get the good swap rates. So that was one of my favorite features that we pushed out over time. And then we made it into the meta aggregator, which meant that we get even multiple aggregator sources to give you even better rates. There's no other reason to swap anywhere else, right? We actually got the best swap rates on Sonic.
Where would you direct like a new person? What's the first step you think for someone coming into Equalizer?
First step, that's funny. It's a good question because I think things have changed. Like 2 years ago, I would have just said, yeah, come to the Discord, which is what I'm going to say. Discord's the best, right? But now it's like, go to the Discord, get on ChatGPT, throw the docs in, do this. Like this is the type of system that if you're going to get involved, you've got to learn quick, right? Like it took people like when Andre launched like 2 to 3 months to actually understand what the hell was going on, right? So you're not expected to get it within one day, and if you don't, you've got the tools to help you these days. Like throw it into ChatGPT, put the docs in there, ask questions like, why does the market change when this happens, and get involved. And I'm going to touch on this as more of a whole Sonic thing, right? Like you can't expect us to go the opposite to the market. That's just not going to happen, right? Like, let's not be silly and think that Sonic could be at $1 and Bitcoin could be at 50K. It just can't happen. But you need to get involved and come into the communities. And I think the best communities are those projects that you want to get involved with, and that's where the opportunities are in the flux of it. Like at these points in the market. You want to be looking for when the Discords are quiet and things like that. And then when they're loud, they're good indicators of that the market's shifting, right? Like ours was in, like end of 2024, was it? Yeah, end of 2020 was just going nuts. Like every day I'm thinking, and I'm starting to get the FOMO myself. But hey, the alts sort of crashed at 2025, didn't they?
Yeah, they kind of did. Well, I want to thank you so much, Blake. It's been a great pleasure to chat with you. We love getting you on, dude. It's been far between, but next time you guys get some updates on Equalizer, holler at me. We'll do another video.
It's been good chatting. Thanks for keeping the community going on your side. Sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's quieter, but you guys keep putting out the content, which is great.
Come on, yo, this that spooky shit, that real, that's right. That GM Sonic shit. Hey yo, Mr. Clean. Shout out to Dracula Presley, Corvin.